Hi there. This next trap in the Spanish martial gambit, which is called one rook wins and one rook loses, has a strong personal attachment. I was training a talented under 12-year-old girl who was up against the national 16-year-old champion. We prepared the martial gambit. Everything went amazingly to plan when rook A to E8 would have won the game and rook F to E8 loses. Sadly, young Shachar Amiel gambled on the wrong rook and went on to lose. So E4, E5, knight F3, knight C6, bishop B5, the Spanish, A6, the bishop drops back to A4, knight F6 hits the pawn on E4, but white simply castles. Black keeps it closed with bishop E7, and now rook E1 defends the pawn on E4. B5 sends the bishop back to B3 and now castles. The white plays C3, preparing to get D4 in, but black strikes at the center first with the martial counter gambit, D5, which surrenders a pawn in return for active piece plays. So E takes D5, knight takes D5, and here white wins the E pawn, knight takes on E5. After knight takes E5, rook takes on E5. Rather than the knight dropping back to F6 as Marshall played in his famous game against Capablanca, what is thought to be better now is C6. White's invariably going to play D4, and then bishop D6 hits the rook, which goes home to E1. The direct approach by black is the best. Queen H4, threatening queen takes on H2. G3 closes off the bishop's diagonal, and queen jumps into H3. Okay, this is where many players meeting the marshal for the first time can go wrong with this move, knight D2, which is natural but pretty much close to losing, because black's going to achieve close to a winning advantage with bishop to G4, which hits the queen. White's actually going to do best just to give up the exchange with rook E2, but that's certainly going to be losing. After queen C2, black has this amazing move, knight to F4, and queen G2 mate is the threat. If pawn takes knight, then bishop takes, and that's going to lead to mate as well in all variations. So after knight F4, the only real move that white has is queen to E4, which keeps an eye on G2. And here in this position, if black plays rook A to E8, then it's game over. Let's throw that in. Rook A to E8 is game over. That's hitting the queen and hitting the rook. If queen takes on E8, then queen G2 is mate. And if the queen wants to keep an eye on G2 by taking the pawn on C6 or running back to H1, then rook takes. Let's put that in. Then rook takes on E1 is going to be winning. Sadly for me, sadly for young Shachar Amiel, she chose to play rook F to E8, and white then comes out on top after queen takes E8, rook takes E8, rook takes E8 check, bishop has to drop back to F8, and then black loses the knight on F4, and white is holding on for a win. So this has been a trap in the Spanish martial gambit called one rook wins and one rook loses. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.